So this is what the consent artifact is. It is basically a machine readable electronic document, a unique creation of our country. This is because of the unique digital public goods that we've been able to create over time, that specifies parameters of scope of data share as to for how long am I giving you this permission, what kind of data I'm allowing you to take, and from which providers I am allowing you to take this information. So this consent artifact is at the core of that health information exchange. Without this, there is no health information exchange. So when we actually talk to different countries about ABDM and how this has to be done, they really ask, okay, is something like Aadhaar necessary to do it? We said yes, that is the core. We have been able to see that this is like a serendipitous coming together of events, that we had Aadhaar, we had UPI, we have other digital public goods like e-sign, we have DigiLocker, etc., that are actually culminating into what we are able to build. So this is a big leap for our country, that we are able to do this, unlike other developed countries who actually have done it in bits and pieces and are now trying to bring about the interoperability part into it. So that's the whole advantage here. Today, whenever somebody goes to a hospital and then there is a claim filing, a typical general hospital, 10 to 15, 20 bedded hospital, typical hospital, has an army of what you call these executives whose sole job is to enter claim information. Some of us might have experienced this. Even after the discharge treatment is over, your discharge actually gets delayed by 4 to 5 hours. आपका सुबह होता है काम पूरा, but eventually the time you come out is actually around 4 or 5 in the evening. What is happening in the process is actually this. Your entire data goes to this claims executive who has to enter this data. So now some insurance company says, send me an email. Some insurance company says, I need what you call scanned copies of everything. Some insurance company says, I already have a portal, why don't you upload everything on that? So it is estimated that on an average, a typical health claim to process in our country, the cost is about 500 to 600 rupees. So if we were to think about universal health access, if we were to think about having, let's say, a system where there is a consultation, insurance for OPD also, a general typical OPD cost is what, 100 to 150 rupees. But if the claim processing itself is taking 500 rupees, that makes this whole thing unviable. So how do you standardize it? So this is exactly what has happened, like I mentioned earlier, that first thing is, the common e-claim standards have been created in consultation and coordination with IRDA and other insurance companies. And then the fire profiles for how a particular claim, what happens in an insurance, first you check whether this person is eligible or not. Second, once he says yes, he or she is eligible, you say, okay, I want to give this particular treatment to this person, these are the information, kindly give me an authorization. This is what you call a pre-authorization request. Once the pre-authorization request is approved, then the treatment is given. So this is how a typical, and then once the treatment is given, a claim is filed. These are the 3 basic steps. So basic idea is that each one of these processes, each one of these stages, the information to be sent has been standardized and an e-claim format has been created. And there is a claims exchange, just like we had the gateway for services, and then we had gateway for health information exchange. This is the claims exchange whose job is to take a claim from a hospital, and the hospital simply has to integrate just with the claims exchange at one end. It doesn't have to deal with each one of these insurance companies. Now any information that is coming in has a header, and the health claims exchange resolves the header and determines where to send it to. Once the information reaches the insurance company can, because of the nature of the claim itself, because the entire information is in 3 ways. One is structured data, where the entire information is in digital format and it can be auto adjudicated. Second one is unstructured data. Unstructured data is something like you have PDF files that are created. For example, when you get tested in LalPath or SRL, he gives you a PDF, right? He is creating it digitally. That is still structured. You doing OCR or text extraction from that is relatively easier. The final one is completely structured, unstructured data. So structured, semi-structured, unstructured. If it is structured, auto adjudication can happen. If it is unstructured, you can use things like OCR and machine learning, extract the information and try some auto adjudication. If it is completely unstructured, then it has to go for manual claims. So the idea is this whole cost of processing and this whole complexity of processing is to be brought down. And also the time, the turnaround time for processing and payments. Today, an insurance, a hospital after claiming an insurance actually has to wait for almost 45 days to 2 years to finally get its payment. So that's a lot of potential, that's a lot of money that gets locked in. So this is what the health claims exchange tries to solve. And this is what is achieved by way of it. One thing is you can check coverage eligibility, you check claim status, you get smart contracts so that payments are made instantly. You get provider information because again the parties here, the providers and the payers are all verified entities. They are part of the network registry. And the policy details are shared in what we call a policy markup language. What is a policy? A policy is, this policy is valid for age between 18 and 40. It is available for these ailments. This is the kind of coverage we give. So this again is digitized. So that once that information comes into the provider software, it is automatically what you call picked up whenever I put the policy name that a person is actually subscribed to. So this whole digitization helps in creating digital contracts, therefore bringing down the transaction cost, the transaction time and standardizing the entire process. Finally, the underlying principles of health data management is that individuals are owners. There is this concept of health lockers. You put your data in a locker and you decide where it goes to. Everything is consent driven sharing, there is the possibility of revoking consent, and then there is a grievance redressal, there is sharing of health data, and there is federation of records. Records are available in and wherever they are created, and that is how the whole thing works. And then there is a choice of viewing health records as per the requirement. Finally, the sandbox thing, like I said, what happens? Somebody comes in, there is an OPN API thing, which is a replica of the real world APIs. There is documentation, there is reference data. You try to do your testing. Once the integration is successful, you move to production environment. This is how the end user applications get created. This is how the provider applications also get created. Lastly, what does it mean to be ABDM compliant or ABDM enabled? One has to complete these milestones. First, I should be able to create your identifier or pick up the identifier if you have already created it in another system. Second, I should be able to create your record and link the record to your ID. Lastly, I should be able to request for a record from other provider, bring it back, and then decipher it and start using it. So this is how the whole milestone of the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission comes in. And apart from this, if you are part of the unified health interface, you also subscribe to the protocol so that you also become discoverable by everybody in the ecosystem. So in a nutshell, this is the tech part that is happening in ABDM, because otherwise there is also another interesting type of presentation where I can show we have created so many 30 crore Aabhas, we have already linked 5 crore records, and there are these many professionals, and this is how it is. But this is actually what is happening on the tech side. The idea is to create that open-ended open ecosystem and which is based on interoperable protocols where every player, every party can participate into it. So that's the idea.